Good morning, BookTube. It's me, Catlin. This will be a review for, or my thoughts video on Discovery by JAJ Minton. 3 authors, indie authors. I originally wasn't going to review this book because I didn't know how to feel about it. Other people have said that it's like a multi-genre type of book, and I'd agree with that, and that's a little different from what you'd normally read. This book is actually really hard to talk about because you don't. There's a handful of characters, and each one they each have their own little plot thing going on, so it's hard to discuss it without spoiling it, I guess, to some extent. There is, well, real quick, let's just talk about the things that I didn't like. At first I didn't like the multi-genre thing that was going on. I thought maybe we could keep it focused, but now I guess that doesn't bother me. The thing that I have an issue with is this feels like a weird prequel book. I don't know. It feels like when an author writes a series and then they go back and then they just write a book that happens before the series. Like New Spring, like Robert Jordan wrote New Spring, which focuses on Lana Moraine type of thing. Stephen King wrote, what is it, Through the Wind in the Keyhole or something like that, I think. So it feels like that. It feels like they wrote a series and then they went back and wrote this type of thing. Maybe I'm losing my mind and I have no idea what I'm talking about, which is probably the case. Let's talk about what I did like. Mostly everything else. The prose, the writing is solid, top notch. I mean, you're not going to get this flowery, beautiful, poetic type of thing, but the writing is actually really solid. You know, you're getting something that's straight and to the point. I feel like they could have dragged this book out for another 150, 200 pages, and they didn't. So it feels solid. And I know if you guys follow their channel on YouTube, you know that John is a character first. He loves characters. So do I. And unfortunately, you're not going to get that right away in this book. Which is another thing why I feel like this book's kind of an afterthought to a series that's already happened. That's how I thought. Towards the end, everything really, like, these characters really do begin to feel like they're not these stereotypical cookie cutter characters. So real quick, the book opens, the prologue-ish, first chapter-ish. You get Manny DiMartini, who I thought was going to be a huge point, a huge thing in this book, and he's not. But he is referenced throughout the book. And then you cut to and after that, then you cut to a news media journalist type of thing. Cut to a professor and his assistant, which, by the way, are the 2 best characters in this book. Their whole thing, 2 best characters in the book, specifically the assistant. I don't think this would be a spoiler. Her name is Lucia, I think. So the entire time I read this book, I pronounced her name in my head as Lucia, and then after I finished it, I was like, oh my god, I'm pretty sure her name is pronounced Lucia, and you've been dumb the entire book. So that was cool. But she's hands down the best character in the book for me. And it isn't until you get towards the end of the book where you start getting these character arcs. So here's what I'll say. This book is kind of a multi-genre thing. You're getting the opening, the big cosmic horror element, and then a big focus is like science fiction-y, like they're working on advancement. They're working on stuff. We're working on stuff. And it is interesting. I think that if you're not a science fiction person like me, you're gonna have a hard time getting into this book. Well, that's not true. I do love H.P. Lovecraft, and you really do get them kind of vibes. And then you also get the weird vibes of like, we're messing with stuff that maybe we shouldn't be messing with. How far are we gonna take this type of thing that we're working on? And now I feel like I'm rambling. Anywho, this book is good. I'm not gonna say that it's great. I'm not gonna say that it's the perfect 5-star. What I will say is, I did enjoy it. I had a great time with this book. I have no idea how long it's gonna take to get to the next book. I have no idea if the next book is going to focus on the same characters. I kind of hope it does touch on them. So, and even though I'd say like, I think this book is good, I'm sitting at like a 3-star with it. I think once the audiobook comes out, I think I'll enjoy the audiobook more because they're having like a full cast, which is gonna be awesome. So I think I will do the audiobook, which I hope I don't set myself up to be sad by the audiobook, because I have this whole cast of characters that I think would be great for the audiobook. Like for some reason I have an over-the-top Jason Momoa as Manny in my head. And for some reason, the main professor guy, who's going to be a big focus in this book, for some reason, I have Kevin Bacon's voice in my head for him. It's weird. I have no idea why I thought of Kevin Bacon. So yeah, so if you pick this book up and you feel like it's dragging, or you feel like it's not your vibe, I would encourage you to just try to stick with it, because the characters, they will become developed. Especially the professor and his assistant. I think that those two characters, I think that they get the best arc. I mean, they are also I'd say they're probably the most prominent people in the book. And I'm not sure what else to say about it. It's good. I enjoyed it. I finished it a week and a half ago, and I just wanted to sit on the thoughts, and I think I was ready. I'm like, I think I'm ready to give it the old review. There is one kind of story arc of characters that I just didn't care for as much. I just kind of read through it just to read through it. Yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks, and thanks to JAJ Minton for writing a good book. Had a good time with it. Thank you. Goodbye, guys.